Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for returning. Trust you and yours are well and you're loving yourself and all this like always. Many thanks to all of you for the support you give to the channel. Thank you so much to our channel members, to our anonymous supporters, to all of you my esteemed subscribers. You're loved, celebrated, and of course, appreciated. So, according to information reaching us right now from very reliable source, because it's coming from the elders of forum of ECOWAS that was present in Guinea-Bissau to, monitor the election. So, if you know the former president of Nigeria, Jonathan Ebele, he was present in Guinea-Bissau, and according to information that he was even trapped in there when the whole, military turmoil started. He was trapped in there, and it was like a little bit of, tension on the internet in the Nigerian space. A lot of persons are like, oh, the former president is trapped in Guinea-Bissau. And anyway, he came back and he has a first-hand information to share with us. Now, if you have been listening to me, I know most of you who were sending me messages, oh, Abigail, there will be no coup in Guinea-Bissau because I got the message late at night. And I'm like, okay, if this is a coup, then it's beautiful. And we saw how the coup of Madagascar unfolded. I keep saying it here that whether it's going to be like the Sahel or not, whether it's going to be a beautiful coup or not, or a good coup or not, it is time that tells, because the truth is that time is what exposes the reality or the truth of whatever situation it might be. And I believe that with time, we will still get to the bottom of this whole situation. Whether it is France who is behind it, whether it's not France who is behind it, whether he is using the military or not. And there are rumors that he had fled to Senegal. And if he fled to Senegal, with all what has been labeled against him, if he fled to Senegal, then I think something is wrong with the leadership of Senegal itself. I think, anyway, that was Senegal. Already, I gave up hope because when I saw that, Faye was ready to have a fight with his prime minister, I felt like, okay, I think we lost another country here to France, because initially Faye was very serious from the beginning, and then later on he began to show some hot and cold behavior, some in and out, or I'm here or I'm not there, I'm there, I'm not here behavior. And I began to give up hope in Senegal. And if it is true that he fled to Senegal and Senegal is giving him, is protecting him, then I think definitely something is wrong. But let's listen to first-hand information from the speaker of the elder forum of ECOWAS right now.
In Guinea-Bissau and, monitoring these elections?
Thank you so much. Since I left office, I've always been scared talking to the media. But in this particular case, I decided to speak to the media. First and foremost, to thank Nigerians for the show of empathy, the encouragement, because while we are in Bissau and this so-called coup happened, the information we got was that the whole country was agitated, young and old, irrespective of religious divides or political divides. And I sincerely appreciate Nigerians, and I want them to hear directly from my mouth to appreciate their concern. And secondly, to thank my president, President Tinubu, and the Ivorian president, President Ouattara. Both presidents were to send aircraft to lift us, but somehow, Côte d'Ivoire is closer to Guinea-Bissau, and there's always some relationship between Francophone countries and the Lusophones among the Francophones. They were able to penetrate their system to get landing permit first before Nigeria could do that. So the Ivorian aircraft was already on their way to pick us. So when we learned about the Nigerian aircraft about leaving, we asked them not to bother. That is why, if you see the picture that was brought by an Ivorian aircraft. So we thank the two presidents, President Ouattara, President Tinubu, and indeed thank Nigerians, young and old, for that. And specifically, what happened in Guinea-Bissau, I wouldn't call it a coup. It was not a coup. Maybe some people describe it as no, not quite.
RNG?
I would just say, if it is like, for want of better word, I would say maybe it was a ceremonial coup. Because for two things, it is the President Barrow, that announced the coup. Before later, the military man came up to address the world that they were in charge of everywhere. Then Mbalo has already announced the coup, which is strange. Not only announcing the coup, but Mbalo, while the coup took place, was using his phone and addressing media organizations across the world that he has been arrested. I'm a Nigerian close to 70, and I know how they keep heads of state when the coup takes place. Recently, I was a mediator in Mali, an ECOWAS mediator in Mali, and within that period, we had a military coup. Military don't take over governments, and the sitting president that they overthrown will be allowed to be addressing press conferences and announcing that he has been arrested. Why does this happen? Who is fooling who? Basically, what happened in Guinea-Bissau is quite disturbing to me, who believes in democracy. In fact, I feel more pained than the day I called Buhari to congratulate him when I lost the election as a sitting president. Because I've been quite particular about Guinea-Bissau. As a sitting president, then, Guinea-Bissau was in crisis. Started by about 2012. By 2011, we have to go physically, worked with them, and make sure that by 2014, we want 2013, elections were conducted. In fact, it was so bad the day that I learned that the military man went to the office of the Prime Minister and slapped the Prime Minister in the office. It was that bad. And what is happening is like we are going back to those dark days of Guinea-Bissau, where the military can do whatever they think they can do. It's totally not acceptable. The elections were done peacefully. We were in the field. I was a part of the West African Elders Forum. Normally, we are not co-observers, so we didn't deploy observation teams across, but we observed within Bissau, the capital, and the neighboring settlements. But during the meeting of all heads of observation missions, and they gave accounts of all the observers gave their account. Nobody gave something different. The elections were peaceful. Counting of results at the polling units peacefully done. The conduct of the electoral officials, the security, the party agents, the voters. It was a good election, and one expected the result to be announced. Then while they were collating the results, then they are finished collating results. You know, results for presidential election are collated at different levels.
That's right.
The 9 regions, results were ready. So they were collating them at the capital. And when they were almost through, and were all waiting for the result to be announced, then Mbelo announced that there's a coup. That they have taken over, they have arrested him. But from all indications, nobody arrested him. My conviction is that, and my charge to ECOWAS and AU is that they must announce their results. They have the results because AU and ECOWAS officials were at all the regions when the results were collated. They cannot change those results. They should tally all those results and announce. They cannot force the military out, but they must announce, let the world know who won that election. Let the world know who won that election. And they owe the world that responsibility. Similar thing happened in Cote d'Ivoire when I was the chair of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of ECOWAS. When in 2010 we had elections in Cote d'Ivoire, Gbagbo was the sitting president. At the first round, Gbagbo got 40-something% of the votes. Ouattara got 30-something% of the votes. And their law, you must get 50% of the votes plus one, at least. Democracy is about majority. You must get a simple majority to be the president. So they have to go for a second round. And when they went for the second round, all those other candidates that lost now supported Ouattara. And Ouattara now got more votes than Gbagbo. And Gbagbo said he was not going, that he won the election. How can somebody who had something now come and defeat him? But that is the law. Then all the observers, international community say Ouattara won the election.
All right, Your Majesties, we heard from an eyewitness who was representing ECOWAS at the election in Guinea-Bissau. The truth is that, you see, this issue of Guinea-Bissau, it is time that will expose the truth. Like he said, African Union has the results of this election. ECOWAS also have the results of this election. And as at yesterday, or 2 days ago, ECOWAS had announced that, African Union had announced that they've expelled Guinea-Bissau from the Union. You know, this is what they always do. The moment there is a coup, the next day, the Union announces that that particular nation is no more with the African Union. So I believe that there is something played underneath here. And the president is in the know of what is going on, because with the whole explanation that I've gotten, especially from those who were present during this whole election/coup in Guinea-Bissau, it's just so clear that the president, who so much loved power, knew that the opposition party was almost getting over him, and he needed a plan to make it look like it is a coup, so that the whole world will believe it is a coup. And while he uses the image of a military to rule the country, he is behind giving order to the military that he is ruling for him. So it's like he controlled the military and the military is ruling for him. Now, this explains why a fraction of the military generals were arrested with the opposition party leader. And it is also a truth that prior to the coalition of this election, we also saw that he believed he is the winner, that the president believes he is the winner. The leader of the opposition party believes that. So how can there be two leaders in the nation? So the fear was that the opposition party leader was truly getting over him, and he needed a quick plan. And since he has the power over the military at that point, or a fraction of the military, he used that power. You see, the reason why I tell you that Africa is sitting on a time bomb is because African leaders are joking with the African youth of today that we have. You know, no matter how loyal a person might be, there will be a way you push the person that the person will decide to bring out the enemy, or the devil in him or her. And when that happens, I don't think African leaders had the power or the strength to contend with the force that will emanate from the African youth of today. I have been saying this time and time again, that Africa is sitting on a time bomb. You see, these leaders are playing, they are joking. They think that everything will keep going the way they want. And so they have power to manipulate things, and they go ahead to manipulate things. They believe that the youth don't know exactly what is happening. And that is why they always discourage the youth from anything that has to do with politics. They make it look like politics is for the older ones. But the moment your leadership is not conducive, things are not okay. The youth can break through any military leadership, especially when you force them to. When they unite one mind, one heart, one voice, the youth of the whole continent. Africa has the youngest and vibrant population in the world. Just imagine if these African leaders understood this whole thing, get fed up. You know, it seems like since there is a tactic to confuse this youth not to partake in politics, these leaders believe that this youth will stay that way forever. But it's not going to be like this forever. Things will change. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Things will change. And there are signs already that this cannot continue. So if you feel as a leader you want to keep ruling forever, you see, I told you that what evolved in Guinea-Bissau is the same thing that happened in Cameroon and Tanzania, where a leader knows that the opposition party has a power already, or the crowd already, and he or she decides to use the military power to push back the opposition party leader, just because he or she wants to remain in power forever. This is exactly what we saw in Cameroon and exactly what we saw in Tanzania, where the opposition party and their members and leaders were arrested and imprisoned. It's the same thing that happened in Guinea-Bissau in another form. But the aim is the same. I want to remain in power forever. Now we are seeing that this man, Embalo, had gradually become a tyrant, a democratic tyrant. Because tell me, because things are not going your way, decide to use the military to deceive your own people that you claim you love and you want to serve. Is that the kind of democracy that African Union truly wants for the African people? Because, like he said, the union has the results and they owe the people an explanation. They owe the world. They need to tell the people what the results of the election truly is. And I believe that the opposition party leader won this election. That is why he felt the need to use the military, to use force, to make it look like it is military that took over power. Initially, when I was, having this discussion, and some of you were like, it's false, I was like, oh goodness me, let this not be anymore. What is wrong with Africa? Why does it seem like we are going backward? Why? Even if it's a curse, can't we just, get over all these things? Live peacefully. Do your leadership. Let your people be free. Tell them the truth. As a leader, you owe your citizens sincerity. But we have seen that African leaders on their democratic leadership, I keep telling you here that the Sahel exposed to us the hypocrisy of democracy. Since they understood that the continent itself, the youth are, delving gradually into military leadership. They want to corrupt the military leadership itself. What is wrong with this so-called democracy that is happening in the continent? Because, people now trust military because of what is going on in the Sahel. They still want to destroy that route so that people don't trust anything. Immediately you hear military take over now, you'll be scared. Is it a good one? Is it not a good one? They have destroyed the effort that the Sahel leaders has put in to expose to us the hypocrisy of democracy. Like, these people are rotten to the point where they can do anything to remain in power and power forever. This is dictatorship. This is tyranny. And this same ECOWAS and African Union will not trash this issue as they should trash it. Look at the way they hung on the Sahel and refused to let them go. Oh, you've gone against the law. This is what you've done. Even though the Sahel is thriving and growing at this point, they are pulling themselves from the damage that have been done to them by France and other superior powers. They are trying to restore, to heal again. The leaders, the military generals and the captain, they are putting in every effort to see that they revive the Sahel League. Even at that, the Union and the ECOWAS they're adamant. They don't want to even accept. Now, I believe the Union knows what is going on in Guinea-Bissau. And they have the right to call this very man to book, arrest him, and let things go the way it should go, but they're not going to do that. Why? Because he said he's a democratic leader, right? Is it not democracy that they want? It's the same democracy that he's living in, manipulation. This is what is called, this is what I would call manipulation. And it's quite unfortunate that we have people who claim to be leaders in Africa who are manipulating, taking advantage of the trust their citizens have for them. I felt like why not we have a follow up, because I've spoken about this, and some of you who were so happy, I'm sorry to let you know that there is a question mark about this military takeover, especially those of you who sent me message, to talk about it, to get more information about it. This is a very reliable information right now that something is wrong with the coup that happened in Guinea-Bissau, and the truth is that time will tell. Time will explain to us what is truly hidden that we do not understand. What do you think, my kings and queens? Leave your thoughts and opinion in the other section. I'm going to see you in my next one. Until then, love yourself, love others, stay safe, stay positive always. Your Majesties. Bye for now.